Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to watch another episode of Lucifer. So this is season 2, episode 9. The episode title is Homewrecker, and who knows what to expect at this point. This show has been going crazy lately. With last episode ending with Lucifer's mom noticing a window, and Lucifer kind of finally really starting to come to accept how in touch he is with humanity and how Earth feels like home to him. Things are really getting interesting. Also, we're seeing that Chloe really is starting to have some feelings for Lucifer. At least her actions would lead us to believe that. So I can't wait to see where they're headed next from here. Homewrecker, obviously, there must be some type of infidelity going on here. Homewrecker, I would imagine, with this being Lucifer, maybe it has something to do with, God and Lucifer's mom or something. I don't know, or some type of, angelic, celestial, higher being cheating scandal thing going on. I don't know how to describe that type of situation, but I guess we're about to find out. So let's see what's going on here on Lucifer season 2, episode 9, Homewrecker.
Expensive cars, the glamorous life. Get ready to
That's
see
how I need to
the
do all my
Los
reactions.
Angeles on-
Yeah, this is a very interesting scene. Lucifer does a great job of showcasing Los Angeles and everyday life in the city. Yeah.
That's on your left.
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. Please, that's your corner.
He's like, you're dismissed.
Again,
I fear for that other dude's job, though.
the city's crowning achievement. My brother and I are
He's just getting
celebrating-
outdone. Where'd Minadale go? Really?
I find that people make Los Angeles their home for one of two reasons. Either they're running from something or looking for something.
And which one are you?
I'm not the one on the couch, Lucifer.
It was a really good choice to pick Los Angeles as the location for this show. I'm assuming they probably had this in mind from the start, but it's like when she puts it that way, especially, it's like, wow, it just makes this whole metaphor here, if you want to call it a metaphor, like really tie together. Like, yeah, he's Lucifer and whatnot, and he's the devil and all that stuff, but he went to Los Angeles for similar reasons than everybody goes to Los Angeles, at least according to what she's saying. So I just think that's a really interesting metaphor that I imagine they probably have had in mind since the start of the show. And if not, it's really cool that they, brought that in here. But I think that's probably been sort of the point since the start. And it makes you really appreciate the setting that they chose for this, because it's such a, it was such a strong choice.
Someone really popped his cork, like.
Thank
Guys,
you
like the blood's the champagne.
for the
Like when
illustrations.
you open a bottle, his neck.
And who are you, lounging around like you own the place?
Oh, I
Well, yeah,
actually do.
he
own
said,
the
I
place.
actually do.
Lucifer, Morning Star, you're being evicted.
Ah, wow, okay. He's being evicted.
Expensive lawyers? Or are you going to do it yourself?
Not in front of all of these humans.
Not in front of all of these humans.
If I were you, I'd leave.
That's fine. This is a police matter now.
I mean, I know that Lucifer was being really, aggressive towards him, but it feels like this Eric Cooper guy is just being so overly, antagonizing. I don't even know the right word. It's just like from the start, well, actually, I do own the place. You have no legal right to be here. Get out now. It seems like in a lot of situations like that, the person might be there and be like trying to maybe calm the person down. Like, look, I just had to da-da-da. But this guy is like so just on edge. I mean, I guess his dad did just die, but geez. He seems to be happy his dad died, though. He wants to make him turn over in his grave.
Don't act like your mother isn't capable of this, Lucifer.
That's enough help from you today, Maze, thank you.
All right,
Maze
fine.
has a good point.
You can't see it, I'll find someone who will.
Whatever you're up to, I will find out.
I don't know, man. All I know is that Maze does make a really good point. I mean, it seems like this is something she'd do.
You weren't actually involved in that man's death, right?
Of course not.
And no human is going to make him give it up as long as it's still standing.
said so.
Another thing that makes it seem like she might be behind this. She said, is that so? Like another human won't stop him, but I will.
We don't have any evidence that Eric Cooper's the killer. Actually, we do.
Huh.
How did you? Never mind. I'll meet you at the Cooper building.
She's always, how did you? I mean, for once, he can easily give her the reason why he knows.
Or hanging him from a window.
I solemnly promise that the man's feet
Suge
will remain
Knight.
firmly on the ground.
Haha, that didn't happen. I mean, the way that guy acted, you knew he wasn't gonna last long. If he goes around talking to everybody how he was talking to Lucifer, I'm not surprised he got thrown. Oh, he leaped from the 7th floor?
Minimum. And this is the man forcing me from my home. He can't even make a proper suicide jump.
We are buried in debt. I thought making emergency
He can still
sales
talk.
could save us, but the bone, he doesn't let go.
Touch me and I will sue you so
We're seeing her powers again.
Tell me and it's yours.
I want everything Dean Cooper has.
Well, Cooper owned luck, so how about everything apart from that?
Everything.
He said, well, Cooper owned luck.
I'm a developer. I'm gonna knock everything down and then rebuild.
Even Lux.
This is the
Especially
time we
that place.
destroy
That's
and
prime
rebuild
real
it.
estate.
Oh, is this where Homewrecker comes from? She's literally wrecking his home.
You're very attractive. I found that can also mean you're not very intelligent.
Dan, you were supposed to come back with a wittier comeback. What are you doing?
Is it true that you know how to make bombs?
that's what I'm accused
He
of.
said, that's what I'm accused of.
Have you ever brought down
Like, why would you ask me that right now?
I know how it's done.
I know how it's done. Oh my goodness, man. What? No question now that she's clearly trying to manipulate things, even if she didn't kill Dean Cooper. We're watching her now plan to destroy Lucifer's club and his home. She's trying to wreck it.
About my life without any trouble. You gentlemen have no idea who you're dealing with, do you?
Hey, y'all are moving the piano.
Let me show you.
Oh no. Oh, I thought he was about to go all Lucifer mode.
Very difficult to convince him to kill this many people.
No, Mom, that's not what
I may
Oh
be
my
able to use
gosh.
this to my advantage.
She doesn't care about killing all those people at all. At least the Menadale's like, no, you can't do that.
What is it exactly I'm supposed to sit in?
Mum, you're actually being a good mum.
No, she's not. She's
We
lying.
have our disagreements, but you're still my son.
Don't believe the lies,
I don't wanna lose
Lucifer.
you again. Care of my son.
You're so welcome.
Our relationship must give you a lot to talk about.
You know, we got a confidential agreement. Haha.
I'm not telling you anything about our sessions.
There you go, Linda.
Lucifer, what the hell were you thinking? Turn the music back on. This place is dead.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. They're dancing together. Should I stay or should I go now? And Lucifer and Chloe are over there dancing in slow motion, man. Things are getting serious. Oh, I thought that was Chloe at first. I was like, what? She's meeting Dan.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't see that coming, but I did see something coming. Like, they had that weird look, and I was like, what was that about? Like, in the room, like, Dan just stepped closer. I was like, I don't know what that means, but it felt like that might lead. I don't even know what this means. I don't know what the meeting up means. I don't know what that's meant to indicate, but it felt like they had a connection of some sorts in that room. I just had no idea what to take from that. Like, I didn't even know how to interpret that. So this is very interesting. Once again, like I said, I think they've really been doing a lot with Dan's character now. They're finding ways to start to use him again, and in ways that really take you off guard too, in this instance.
I approached her. Rented Bentley, fake Rolex, the whole 9 yards. I laid it on thick.
And? Did she sleep with you?
She passed. She stayed faithful.
What, you couldn't seduce her with your fake Rolex?
So that's so funny to me though. So like part of his job is like, if they fail, he just actually sleeps with them. That's a little funny to me.
Color me shocked.
Hey man, my success rate is
He's
pretty
like, hey man, this is just, I had to do it. It was part of the job.
It's me, she killed the wrong man.
Lucifer, come on.
Detective, this man is a professional
Homewrecker. I knew it. I was thinking. I should have said it out loud. I was thinking just in my mind. I thought this guy's a professional homewrecker. I should have said it out loud so I could have said it before Lucifer said it. I should have said it out loud. I swear I thought that like a few minutes ago. I was like, he's a professional homewrecker. But that's the title, by the way. So that's cool. They managed to make the title kind of tie in multiple ways.
Go on.
I think you were right, Maze. They must be discussing some evil, terrible plans, and we must stop them.
No.
Oh, this chair. Man, like, Amenadiel is hilarious. You were right. After she caresses his hand, they're discussing evil plans. It's so funny watching. It's so funny, like, when you see their disconnect from our world and how they just see things differently and, I guess, don't understand social cues the same way, despite being these celestial beings or whatever you would call them. At least in Amenadiel's case.
No.
Maze is a demon. I know Maze knows what that all is. She does know they can't just do it right there, though, right? Amenadiel looks disgusted. He's like, that's my mom. And, you know, it's interesting that even though she's so disconnected, and now I'm referring to Lucifer's mom, even though she's so disconnected from, you know, humans and the way they think and just who they are, she's definitely getting good at, you know, just learning how to manipulate them and understand how a human, I guess, yeah, how a human thinks and the way that she can manipulate them into doing what she might need for them to do.
Cooper, you're under arrest.
No,
Wait,
it was me. It happened all like you said.
what is going on here?
I'm the one who did it, not Eric.
I don't understand. The one of you who didn't do it, you'll lose everything.
They won't lose each other.
No, we won't.
Well, actually, they probably will.
Ox has been named a heritage site by Los Angeles County.
Detective,
I
is this...
had a friend in the city council push it through.
She's a home saver.
Buy it back from Eleanor Bloom. I'm sure well above market price, but
That ain't an issue.
Why is it that I'm the only human in your life who knows who you really are?
Because you asked me. Remember, you insisted that I show you.
Detective Decker has asked you many times.
And I always tell her the truth.
But you know she doesn't believe you. You could show her your true face.
Is she gonna stand her up? Oh my gosh. Yo, that's what she's trying to do, man. I know this ain't about to happen. Hurry up and just move away. Whatever. They're not gonna kill Chloe Decker. Like, I mean, like, that's not even. There's not a remote chance that's gonna happen. So I'm not even worried about her. But yeah. Okay. I thought that was a pretty cool episode. Like, first of all, just the Homewrecker title of that episode. Just the fact that they titled it that was really cool. Like, and that bumps it up a notch to me because it's so cool how they like managed to make Homewrecker apply in so many different ways. Like, you know, Homewrecker with that lady literally trying to wreck Lucifer's home. Eleanor Bloom, I mean, like, she was trying to take a demolition crew to his home. Then Homewrecker, like the guy being a professional homewrecker. That's where the title was actually said out loud, of course, in traditional Lucifer fashion. And then even just Homewrecker, like with Lucifer's mom trying to wreck Lucifer's home that he has here in Los Angeles on Earth by, you know, first trying to take away his club, now trying to take away Chloe from him. So it's a really, you know, it's really apropos title, you could say. So overall, I thought that this was a pretty good episode. I really do feel like the placement of this episode in terms of the season, at least what I've seen of the season so far, was really good. Mainly because, you know, the last episode ended with Lucifer finally saying out loud to himself and to the others that this is his home. Earth, Los Angeles, this is what he really thinks of as home to him. And this episode basically took that and just was like, let's dive into that. Let's examine that. So it just felt like a very natural theme to explore next, given where we left off with the last episode. Also, just, it felt like this was a lighter episode than the episodes that have preceded it. They've been somewhat heavy and really emotionally jam-packed. And that's not to say that this episode was devoid of emotion, because it definitely had a lot of emotional beats. But it did feel like it was a bit lighter and maybe was a bit of a breather from what we've been going through the last few episodes, if you will. I also felt like it's good that they finally addressed Lucifer not telling Chloe about, or at least not showing Chloe his real face. That is one thing that, especially in the first season, I was always like, okay, so this guy shows all these other people his face. He can clearly control it when he wants to. Like, why doesn't he just show Chloe if he really wants her to believe, rather than her keep on having to, you know, just kind of see something, like, and be like, wait, did I see something or didn't I? So I'm like, why doesn't Lucifer just show Chloe? This season, really, it feels like they've been answering that question. Somewhat behind the scenes, not really overtly saying it, but, you know, they have been, Lucifer's actions have been starting to make it make more and more sense why he hasn't just shown Chloe his real face. And even him showing Linda was even kind of even more of an answer to that, if you will, because you're like, okay, well, he shows Linda, but he still hasn't shown Chloe, but it's starting to make more sense. And now in this episode, Linda actually kind of just outright breaks it down for him, and the show actually really pulls that to the surface and overtly addresses this sort of, you know, it's not a plot hole, but this sort of, you know, inconsistency of Lucifer will show this person his face, but he won't just show Chloe when he could easily just show her. Because, you know, it's one of those things that almost feels like it's just there to, like, extend the plot out or extend something out, where with Chloe not knowing that Lucifer is really Lucifer, and kind of being like, you know, what's her name, Scully or whatnot, to Fox Mulder, not really, you know, completely believing. So it's kind of like that. But this season, it felt like that has made more and more sense, and it doesn't feel like it's just something they're trying to drag out, but it feels like it has a real reason that is backed by Lucifer's character. And this episode just actually addressed it. Speaking of that, you know, this was an episode that really, again, made me think about how this show, it has a therapist thing to it. You know, every episode has him talking to Linda, and typically those type of things in TV shows can be kind of cheap. You know what I mean? Like, they can just be, oh, we're just gonna have the character go to a therapist or something and just outright say everything that they need to be learning and everything that they're going through. And it can come across as a bit of a cheap way to display character development and to make characters grow, because things are just being said outright to them and to the audience. And that was something that I was a little wary about going into this show, because I'm like, they have a therapy thing here. But I think this episode in particular is a good example of how, even though they have a recurring therapy session, they're doing it in a way where it doesn't feel artificial. Like, it doesn't feel like Lucifer's coming into these sessions and then everything is just being broken down and told to him and the audience, and we're like, okay, now we have a reason for why he's doing that, and now his character has developed in this way, because everything that they talk about in those sessions is usually backed by episodes and episodes of behavior. You know what I mean? Like, stuff that the show isn't necessarily outwardly just shining a light on or pointing a finger at. It's just recurring patterns of behavior from Lucifer or other characters and whatnot. And so when Linda brings something like that up in the therapy session, it doesn't feel like they just wrote that in just to make it make sense and just to be like, okay, well, that's that explained, and now the character knows this. It feels like it's something that is really, like, has really been building up, and like, that's just the payoff. This episode did a good job of showing Amenadiel's sort of struggle, I think. Like, Amenadiel has always kind of been a follower in a way. Like, I mean, following God or following his mom or following Lucifer. And it just seems like this whole series, he's been trying to follow somebody and constantly having, like, you know, doubts of if he's doing the right thing, like how he was doubting God and whatnot. And now he's trying to follow his mother, but he's kind of doubting her. And so I think this episode was doing a great job of showing Amenadiel, he's a little misguided. And, you know, he's been agreeing with a lot of things that we as the audience probably don't agree with and don't want to happen. Like, he's been kind of siding with Lucifer's mom more than he's been siding with Lucifer. But this episode showed that deep down, Amenadiel's heart is probably in the right place, and he has the potential to, you know, to learn and to do right, if you will, I guess. Not that he's been doing wrong, like, I mean, but he has kind of, you know, he's been very misguided, it seems. And this episode just showcased his struggle, it felt like he's kind of seeing he's seeing the cracks in the pavement. That's not even the right term to use, but he's starting to think, okay, like, is this really right? Like, is she really doing the right thing right now? I felt like this episode did a great job of portraying that. So I've mentioned already that I think this season they're doing a good job of balancing the case of the week plots with the actual story of the episode, as well as the story of the overall season. And I don't think this episode was an exception. I think they did a great job balancing it here. Now, personally, I will say that my one thing that I didn't like about this episode was kind of the case of the week and the plot. Not because I didn't think that they executed it well, because I did think that they balanced it well and that it was a good vehicle for, you know, everything that was happening, and it didn't get in the way and it didn't distract like maybe some did in season 1. But I think it was just, something about the characters and the things that were going on just wasn't very interesting to me, and it kind of detracted from my enjoyment just a tiny little bit of the episode. It's not that I didn't like the episode, I definitely did, but if I had to pick something that kind of detracted from my enjoyment, it was that. Although it did have Flex Alexander, which was pretty cool because he was the star of the show One-on-One, which was one of my favorite TV shows when I was younger. But anyway, and of course, you know, that's not the story, or that's not what really matters here, but it is there. And so I do like, you know, it is there, and it does have an impact on how you see it and how you digest the story, because the case of the week is kind of the casing that it's all in, no pun intended. So that stuff was it was just kind of boring to me this episode, but luckily the story and all the character developments and everything like that was still strong enough to where, you know, it didn't hurt me too much and whatnot. And like I said, that was kind of a personal thing. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought that Dan sleeping with Lucifer's mom is such a weird development. It's such a funny way to go. Like, I feel like there's so many jokes that are gonna come out of that for some reason. Like, it's like, who would have saw that coming? But yeah, I mean, that was, I don't even know what to think about that part. Dan and Lucifer and Amenadiel's mom. That was just weird, and I don't even know what to say about that. But it led up to the end of the episode where Chloe had the little bomb under her car and Lucifer's mom was about to detonate it. So I made a similar point to this actually on my last Walking Dead reaction, because they ended with an episode in a bit of a similar way. Not really the same, but a bit of a similar way, where it's like it looks like a character might be about to die. And the thing, I don't expect Chloe Decker to die at all. Like, I mean, obviously, for one, just because she's Chloe Decker. I mean, like, I just don't think they would kill her. And then also, two, it just seems like on a TV show, whenever they end on a cliffhanger like that, where it seems like a character might be about to die, like everything adds up to them being about to die, but they end it on a cliffhanger, usually the character isn't actually about to die. Like, if a character is about to die, they do it like during the episode, where then it's like a lot of emotional weight or something like that. I don't know how to describe what I mean, but shows typically don't do it like that, like a cliffhanger with a character almost about to die, then at the beginning of the next episode they actually die. That typically just doesn't happen. So I guess maybe conditioning from watching other TV shows just makes me not expect anything actually about to happen to Chloe here. And I don't think they expect anyone to expect anything to be about to happen. But I do wonder, like, how Chloe's gonna get out of that, I guess, and what the reason is gonna be, either that Lucifer's mom decides not to do it or that it doesn't work. Because I feel like it would be lame if she just pushed a button and it just didn't work. So I'm sure they've got something in store that is a lot more, a lot stronger than that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how exactly Chloe is gonna get out of this situation, because it's definitely looking pretty bad for her right now. So I think this should be fun. And this episode also kind of piggybacked off of what the last episode really started to introduce with Chloe and her feelings for Lucifer. This episode, I mean, if you had any doubts after the last episode, which I don't see why you would, she definitely has feelings for Lucifer. And now we see that Lucifer, you know, for a few different reasons it seems, is a little scared or wary of actually reciprocating those feelings to Chloe. You know, I mean, obviously a guy like Lucifer is kind of afraid of commitment. That's just been shown through his character throughout the entire show. You know, he's not really one to want to be in a relationship like that. You know, he likes to take it easy or steady or not steady. I don't know the term, but he likes to, you know, he likes to just kind of likes to just roll. Okay, this sounds stupid. Why am I talking like this? You know what I mean. But also, Lucifer is afraid of what Chloe will think of him if she finds out who he really is. And so it's like kind of that fear of exposing his true self to her is now making him want to stay far away from her. Just like he wanted to stay away from her when he found out that she makes him vulnerable. So again, this is kind of another example of that, of Lucifer not wanting to be too vulnerable. This time is more on an emotional level than a physical level, but still, it's another example of Lucifer not wanting to be too vulnerable. So he's trying to purposefully stay away from Chloe. So I do feel bad for Chloe for being stood up like that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she's going to react to this and respond to this. I'm sure she's going to just assume it's only, you know, it's just Lucifer being Lucifer. You know, he's always been afraid of commitment. He's never really been one to get too serious. So she probably is just gonna think, you know, oh, this seemed too serious for him, and now he kind of, you know, he got scared and ran away, which is true, but it's other stuff too. I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how Chloe is going to feel about this and how she's going to react to this. Either way, I'm sure it's going to hurt her, and she's gonna, you know, be pretty sad the next episode. So guess we'll see what's gonna happen, but this show is really good, man, and I'm really enjoying it. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon for full uncut reactions to Lucifer that are weeks ahead of the YouTube uploads. Until next time, I hope that you all enjoy your day or night or whatever. Bye.